We need to oil this. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome everyone, it's good to see you. It was a long and difficult week for many of us. It's good to be here on Shabbat, sharing this beautiful space of peace with one another. We're going to begin our service on page 10 with Yedid Nefesh.
Yedid Nefesh Avorachaman Mishoch Avdach Eretz Onach Yarutz Avdach Kemo Haya Yishtachave Mul Hadarach Ki Yeralo Yedidutach Minofetzu Vechotam Igalena Ufros Aviv Alay Etzukat Shelomach Ta'ir Eretz Migvodach Nagila Venismechach Mahir Ahov Kiva Moed Vechoneni Ki Meolam Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Yanai Nai 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 Nai.
Lechun Ranena, page 11.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai. Naria, naria, letzuri shenu, nekama fana betoda. Naria, naria, letzuri shenu. Bismiro narialo, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai.
Bottom of page 12.
Arba'im shenakut bedor, va'omar amto elevavhem, vehem lo yedu derachai, asher nishbati ve'api, im yevon el menuchati.
Page 13.
Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruch shemo, bazru meyom leyom yeshuato. Sapru
בגויים כבודו וכל העמים נפלאותיו כי גדול עובר לפניו עוז בית הזמן. We continue at the bottom of page 14.
Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yismechu hashamayim,
Yismechu hashamayim,
Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam,
Yiram hayam,
Yiram hayam umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo.
Let us pray responsibly in English on page 17. Sing to Adonai a new song, for Adonai has wrought wonders. God's right hand and holy arm have brought deliverance.
Adonai declared deliverance. As nations looked on, God's righteousness was revealed.
God dealt faithfully and kindly with the house of Israel, the very ends of the earth. So our God's saving power.
Call out to Adonai, all the earth. Break out in joyful singing. Sing to Adonai to the music of the lyre. Lyre and voices making music together, with horns and shofar cries, trumpets, the presence of the sovereign Adonai.
Let the sea roar, the earth and all who inhabited thunder. Let rivers clap hands, while mountains sing in harmony. Greeting Adonai, who comes to judge the earth, judging the world with justice and the nations with truth. Zamru Adonai, page 18.
Zamru Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor Bekol Zimra, Bechatzotzrot Bekol Shofar.
Ariu lifnei HaMelech Adonai.
Zamru Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor Bekol Zimra, Bechatzotzrot Bekol Shofar. Ariu lifnei HaMelech Adonai. Yiram hayam ulo, tevel veyoshveiva, neharot imcha uchav yachad, harim yiraneinu, lifnei Adonai kiva, lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel betzedek, ve'amim b'meisharim. Yiram hayam umlo, tevel ve'yoshveiva, neharot imcha uchav yachad, harim yiraneinu.
Romemu, page 20.
Nai, 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 yai, dai, 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 yai, dai, 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 dai. Nai, 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 nai. Nai, 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 yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Nai, 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 nai. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu.
Let us please rise for Mizmor LeDavid, page 21.
Mizmor LeDavid, Havul Adonai B'Nelim, Havul Adonai, Kavod Va'os, ay, 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 Havul Adonai, Kevod Shemo Yishtachavu Adonai, Hadar Kodesh, Kol Adonai, Hamayim El HaKavod Hirim, Adonai, Al Mayim Rabim, Kol Adonai, Bakoach, ay, 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 Kol Adonai, Be'adar, Kol Adonai, Shomer Arazim, Vayashaber Adonai, En Arzei Havadon, Vayakidem, Kemo Egel, Levanon, Vesirion, Kemo Ben Remim, Kemo Ben Remim, ay, 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 Kol Adonai, Hotehem Ramotesh, Kol Adonai, Yakil Midbar, Yakil Adonai, Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai, Kol Ayalot, Vayekei Sof, Ye'aron, Tuvechalo, Kulo Omer Kavod, ay, 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 Adonai Lamabo, Yashava Yeshem, Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Oz, Le'amo Yiten Adonai, Yevarech et Amo Vashalom, Nai, 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 ay, 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 nai, 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 ya, nai, 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 ya, nai, 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 ya, nai, 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 ya, nai, 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 ya, nai, 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 nai.
Please be seated, page 22. If you would, may your mighty right hand undo the knot that ties us up. Mighty Holy One, in your abundant goodness, guide your people. Listen to our pleas, hear our cries, knowing the hidden depths within us. Ana Bechoach.
Ana Bechoach, Bechoach, Gedulat Yemincha, Yemincha. Tatit Serura, Kaberinat Amcha, Savenu, Tarenu, Nora. Ana Bechoach, Bechoach, Gedulat Yemincha, Yemincha. Tatit Serura, Kaberinat Amcha, Savenu, Tarenu, Nora. Ana Bechoach, Gedulat Yemincha, Tatit Serura, Kaberinat Amcha, Rinat Amcha, Savenu, Tarenu, Nora. Nagibor Dorshe Yehudcha, Kevavad Shomrem, Barchem Taharem, Rachamem Sidkatecha Tamid Gomlem. בכוח גדולת ימינך, תתיר צרורה, תתיר צרורה, כברינת עמך, רינת עמך, סגנו תרנו נורא. Nai 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 nai
Lechadodi, page 23.
Nai 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 Lechadodi ligrakala Penei Shabbat nekavela Lechadodi ligrakala Penei Shabbat nekavela Shamor v'zachor B'dibur echad Ishmi'anu El hamiuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad Shemo tiferet Ve'nitchila lechadodi ligrakala Penei Shabbat nekavela Ligrad Shabbat Lechu v'nilcha ki mekor Haberacha merosh mikedem Nesucha sof ma'aseya B'machshavat tchila Lechadodi ligrakala Penei Shabbat nekavela Mikdash melech Ir melucha kumetzei מתוך אפיך רב לך שבט בימי כבך וכולי יחמול עלייך חמלה לכדודי לגרקלה פני שבת נקבלה הנערים מעפר כולי לישי בגדיה תפארתך מעל יד בן ישי והלך מקרבה אל נפשי נפשי גאלה לכדודי לגרקלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שדברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לכדודי לגרקלה פני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקמי מה תשתוכחי ומה תקמי בך יכסו אני עמי ונבנתה עיר עתילה לכדודי לגרקלה פני שבת נקבלה והיו לשמסה שעושייך ורחקו כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כנס חתן חתן הכלה לכדודי לגרקלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יד איש בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה לכדודי לגרקלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי בשלום הדרך בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה
שבת מלכתה
Lecha dodi, likrakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrakala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated. Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, page 27.
Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat. Tov tov lehodo l'Adonai, Tov tov lehodo l'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב טוב להודות לאדוני, לחגי בבוקר חסדך, לחגי בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, ואמונתך בלילות. טוב טוב להודות לאדוני, לחגי בבוקר חסדך, לחגי בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, ואמונתך בלילות. טוב טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב טוב להודות לאדוני.
Page 29, Adonai Malach.
Adonai malach geut lavesh, lavesh. Adonai ozit azar, avtikon tevel baltimod, avtikon tevel baltimod. Nachon kizacham me'az, me'olam atah. נעשהו נהרות אדוני, נעשהו נהרות עולם, יישאו נהרות תוך ים מגולות, מים רבים אדירים משברי ים, אדיר במרום אדוני, אדיר במרום עדותיך נאמנו מאוד, לבבך נע בקודש, אדוני לאורך ימים, אדוני לאורך ימים מגולות, מים רבים אדירים משברי ים, אדיר במרום אדוני, אדיר במרום אדוני.
Let us please rise, page 39 in Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Yadai. Nai nai na 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 nai 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 na 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 nai nai yada dai 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 yada dai dai yada dai nai nai na 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 nai 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 na 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 nai nai yada dai 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 yada dai dai yada dai uma'avir yom u'mevi laila umavdil ben yom u'vein laila Adonai Tzevaot Shemo Adonai Tzevaot Shemo El Chai Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed Baruch Ata Adonai Amari Aravi.
Ahavat Olam, page 40.
Ahavat Olam, Bein Yisrael, Amcha Avta. Torah u'mitzvot u'kimu mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shok beinu kumenu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla. Ve'avatecha al tasirmunu le'olamim. Baruch ata Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך
ובשעריך בהם שמוע תשמעו על דברי אשר רואים מצוותכם היום להבית אדוני אלוהיכם ולעבדו בכל לבביכם. ויאמר משה לאמור ובני רק אנחנו אלוהים וצי ראיתם אותו. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
We continue praying Mi Chamocha, page 44.
Nai 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 nai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norat tehilot o seifele, Norat tehilot o seifele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam livnei Moshe, ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed, Adonai imlo le'olam va'ed. Nai 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 nai.
Ashkiveinu, page 45.
Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechai. Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechai. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu lechaim ushalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim.
Let us please rise for Veshamru, page 46.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
בעלמא דברה קידותי בעמלק מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגאלה בגאלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמי. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וירומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירה בעלמא ויאמרו Amen.
We continue praying the Amidah silently, beginning on page 47. If you finish praying the Amidah, please be seated. We're going to continue with Shalom Rav, page 51.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki Ata Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us and to all Israel and to all who dwell on earth. And let us say, Amen.
Say shalom bimvromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'emeru amen. Say shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'emeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'emeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'emeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'emeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'emeru amen.
Kaddish Shalem, page 54.
יתגדל ויגדל רבה,
אמן.
ועלמא דברי קדושי וימליך מלכותי בחיי חוני ומחוני וחי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ומהרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיא. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ומינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קדושה, בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו Amen. Titka batzlot honova utahona kol Yisrael kol damavona v'shemaya v'imru. Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shemaya v'chaim alina v'el kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom b'romav. Huya say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. I would like to share with you a story this evening, and I'm sure perhaps some of you know it already. It's a beautiful story about a Buddhist monk and a gladiator that find themselves in a bridge where only one of them could pass. There was no room for two people. So they meet at the center of the bridge, and they're arguing to see who's going to go first. Who's going to go to a side or jump off the bridge so the other one can go through. And the gladiator says to the Buddhist monk, I will let you through if you teach me something that I don't know. So this Buddhist monk says to him, I'm going to teach you a great lesson. I'm going to show you heaven and hell combined in one single second. So the gladiator says, you take me for a fool, takes out his sword and is about to kill the monk. And the monk says, that is hell. And a little bit ashamed, the gladiator puts his sword away, and the monk says, and that is heaven. You see, our lives, by and large, are filled with moments like this, where we experience heaven and hell, good and evil, prosperity and adversity, sometimes separated just by instants, sometimes days, sometimes minutes. But life really is not all uphill and not all downhill. And our tradition understands that in a very unusual way. For the Jewish people, the concept of good and evil, of light and darkness, is an everlasting concept in our theology. And nothing illustrates it better than our understanding of how human beings are born. Are we born innocent, or are we born evil, prone to do horrible things? Different religions have different opinions, but our opinion, by the way, on this seems to me to be the most good. Human beings are born both with a Yetzer Hara and a Yetzer Tov. Human beings are born both with the ability to do good and the ability to do evil. And certain things that happen in your life make you more prone to do one than the other, but you always have the capacity of both till the very last minute. Nobody is born entirely innocent, and nobody is born entirely prone to do bad things. The Torah portion we read this week, Parashat Kitetse, has the most amount of mitzvot of any Torah portion in the entire Torah. And most of these mitzvot are very common mitzvot. The mitzvot that we observe every day in and day out. Commandments that are fantastic, commandments that are not so fantastic. At the beginning of the Torah portion, we have the stoning of the rebellious child. We read that twice this week. When you have a rebellious son, you take him out to the elders of the city, and if he doesn't shut his mouth, you stone him. Right? That was a mitzvah. So mitzvot have also evolved. But most of the mitzvot in the Torah portion are mitzvot that actually cause us to do good. The last mitzvah, the very last verse, is one of the most difficult verses to understand. Timche et zecher Amalek mitachat hashamayim lo tishkach. You should blot out the memory of Amalek from under heavens. Don't forget. So after a whole couple of chapters of positive mitzvot, we go to this mitzvah where God instructs us through Moses never to forget what Amalek did to us and to wipe out their memory from under heaven. Now, wiping out the memory of another people from under heaven is a very severe commandment. This is not like keeping kosher or keeping Shabbos. This means that when you encounter Amalek, which we consider to be the ultimate source of evil in the world, You cannot be compassionate. You have to finish it. And there's a story in our tradition that illustrates the dilemma that we face as Jews when we face evil. The Talmud calls the Jewish people Rachmanim b'nei Rachmanim, the compassionate ones, children of compassionate ones. And their historical problem has been that we can never step out of the role of compassion, sometimes even at the cost of defending ourselves. If you never understood why there are Jews who turn their backs on Israel, this is why. Compassionate being seems to be above everything else in the scale of values, even when your life's in danger, which is absolutely wrong. The story of King Saul. Stories about monarchs are going to be very much in vogue this week. So I'll tell you a story of one of our own kings, King Saul. For those of you who do not know, King Saul was the first king of Israel. And he was actually not deposed by a coup or by a palace situation that he couldn't handle or by his children turning against him. He was basically removed from office by God because he was instructed to finish Amalek. He was instructed to go in and kill the Amalekites to the last man standing, including their king, King Agag. He was supposed to kill animals, everything. And of course, because we have this tendency to be compassionate, he spares the animals and he spares the king. And Samuel comes over and asks for Agag to be turned over to him, and he kills him. And he informs Saul that God is very displeased with him, and he's basically going to be finished as king. So the Talmud also warns that people who are compassionate when they need to be cruel end up being cruel when they need to be compassionate. And this is the everlasting problem of humanity. Think about monarchs. Think about kings and queens. Think about Queen Elizabeth, which we're going to be talking about at length tomorrow from the perspective of the Jewish community. Criticized by the left and the right for never doing much. It is difficult to act because you never know if you're being compassionate or cruel. It is hard to understand the nature of your enemy. This Torah portion makes it very unambiguous. When we face Amalek, we need to finish it. And what do we mean by Amalek? The likes of Hitler and his descendants, Arafat and his descendants, anyone who's ever killed Jews just because we are Jews. That is Amalek. It's a complicated mitzvah. But we, for too long, have let the world understand our sense of compassion for a sense of weakness. And that's exactly what this Torah portion warns about. You know, in the days leading up to Rosh Hashanah, we really should be focusing ourselves in introspection, in returning to God, in finding the inner strength to be who we're supposed to be. And one of the prayers that I think we should pray every year at every time is that God grants us the strength to be able to stand up to our enemies and, when required, not to show weakness to them. That's why that mitzvah of wiping out the memory of Amalek, it's only one line in the entire parsha. It's at the very end. And it's signaling that for all the good that we do in life and all of the other mitzvot, there will come a time when we will face this mitzvah. Because no one is born entirely good, and no one is born entirely bad. This will be one of the hardest choices we will ever make in our lives. How to face and confront evil. Shabbat Shalom. May I please ask us to rise? We're going to continue on page 73 with the Chatzi Kaddish. With Shalom Aleichem. I know. Page 73, Shalom Aleichem. I'm ahead by one day.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Marchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Let us please remain standing for Kiddush, page 55. We'd like to invite all the children that are with us this evening to come to the Bima for Kiddush. Come on, guys. It's okay. Come on. Page 55.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei puri hagafei.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinkilanu zikaron le'maseh bereishit ki hu yom techilah lemikrahei kodesh Zecher Letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu Vacharta V'tanu Kidashta Mikol Ha'amim V'shabbat Kodshecha Be'ahava U'b'ratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We got challah here too. We got all the challah you can eat. Today's a special. We're going to continue with Aleinu, which we can find on page 56. Who wants a big piece of challah? Here. Behind you, here too. Here. Come on. Now we're shy? There you go. Whoa.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, lateit gedula le'yotze bereshit, shelo asanu koyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kachem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shenatei shemayim ve'oseh haaretz mishmei shemamon. Al ken ik willen gaan. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad.
Please be seated, page 59, the special psalm for this season.
V'David Adonai Achad she'alti met Adonai otav
לחזור בנועם אדוני לבקר בהיכלו, כי צפונני בסוכו ביום רע. אל תסתר פניך ממני, אל תטבע אף עבדיך, עזרתי חיית. כי אביבי מי זבלוני, אדוני יספני.
Lulei mati li rukbetu v'Adonai beretz chaim, kavel Adonai hazak v'beslibecha v'kavel Adonai.
This week at Temple Beth Sholom, we remember the following yortzites: John Arum, Arnold Barras, Geraldine Baum, Myrna Bilak, Arthur Brick, Robin Brustin, Clinton Campbell, Shelley Carroll, Sidney Cohen, Molly Eisen, Ivy Falk, Lillian Finn, Leonor Finkelstein, Verona Freeman, Milton Friedman, Harold Green, Mildred Hoffman, Kenneth Kneitinger, Robert Lessinger, Jacob Lichter, Leon Mack, Florence Marks, Herman Miller, Marion Norwood, Scott Bacon, Irving Rosenberg, Annette Rubin, Isaac Roche, Harold Seltzer, Joseph Shapiro, Sadie Shoel, Edward Silverman, Miriam Stodell, Jeanette Terry, Barbara Wallace, and Blanche Wise. Mourners and those serving yortzeit, please rise for the mourners' Kaddish. Page 58. Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma dibrach yirutei ve'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'b'chay dechol bet Israel, b'agalau v'zman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach l'olam u'l'mei almaya, yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitroman ve'yitnaseh, ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shmei de'kudesha brichu. Le'heilah min kol birchata ve'shirata, תושבחתה ונחמתה ואמירם בעולמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלום הרב אמין שמיה, בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. I'd like to call upon Larry Dorff, member of our board of directors, for the announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi. Rabbi Goodman, DJ Sinai, thank you for a beautiful service. I welcome everybody to our wonderful synagogue. If you have any questions after services in the small social hall, I'll be available. I'm one of the directors. I'll answer any and all of your questions.
All?
Well, I'll do my best.
Okay.
I'll make it up if I don't remember. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Shabbat services. Monday through Friday, 7:30 in the small chapel. The Steinberg Chapel. We have a morning minyan followed by a complete breakfast on Sunday, and on holidays, 9 a.m. in the morning. Tickets are on sale for the 613 A Capella concert on December 4th. The event is taking place instead of our traditional gala. There will be a cocktail hour and silent auction leading into the 613 Capella concert. Please purchase your tickets soon as seating is limited. Sunday at 10:30 a.m., the TBS Women's League invites you to Apple and Honey tasting. This is open to all Women League members and those interested in learning more about this fantastic group of women. Tuesday, September 13th at 5 p.m., Rabbi Goodman will be leading Shofar University in the Steinberg Chapel. The Holocaust Resource Center class, Stories of Holocaust Survivors, Rescuers, and Resistance, begins Wednesday, September 14th at 4:30 p.m. If you are interested, please reach out to Susan Dubin. Thursday, September 15th at 6:30 p.m. will be Intro to Judaism with Rabbi Goodman. If you're interested in participating in this course, please contact Nancy in the office. Friday, September 16th will be our acoustic Shabbat service, and Saturday, September 17th at 8 p.m. is Shalichot service in the Steinberg Chapel. Sunday, September 18th, U.S. Wine Kadima is going to Las Vegas Mini Grand Prix. The experience is open to all 4th through 12th graders. RSVP to DJ by this Wednesday. On Thursday, September 22nd, Professor Quall will discuss the thesis of her new book, Remixed Judaism, Preserving Tradition in a Diverse World as it Applies to Individuals, particularly affiliated with conservative Judaism, seeking to deepen their connection to Judaism, Jewish tradition outside of strict compliance with the rules of Jewish law. The link for this Zoom session can be found in your weekly TBS mail. Following services, please join us in the small social hall for Onik. Tonight's cake is sponsored in celebration of Marcia Cohn, Lois Weinberg, and Merle Mitzenbacher's birthdays. If you know a member of the temple who is in the hospital, ill at home, or in a nursing home, please contact the temple office and let us know. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Mazel tov to everyone celebrating a birthday.
That's great.
Must be nice to be 18 again.
Yeah.
We conclude our service on page 211 with Adon Olam, followed by our special blessing.
Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol yitzir nivra, Le'nasa, V'efso kol, Ezai melech shemo nigra, V'yacharei gidot hakol, Levado imlok nora, V'hu haya, V'hu hoveh, V'hu yeh b'tifara, V'hu echad, V'en sheni, V'hamshilo le'achbira, V'li reshit, V'li taklid, V'lo ha'oz, V'ha'misra, V'hu eli, V'chagoali, V'tzurhem li b'etzara, V'hu nisi umanos li, V'nakosi b'yom ekra, V'hado avkid ruchi, V'etisha v'ya'ira, V'im ruchi gviati, Adonai li v'lo ira. Nai 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 nai.
Let us embrace one another. Let us come together this beautiful moment of light and peace of Shabbat. May the week that we have left behind inspire us to live better lives in what's coming ahead of us. May this Shabbat really make the light of Torah shine in our life.
Yevorechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'ir Adonai banav elecha v'chunecha, Yisa Adonai banav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Yevorechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Adonai Oslamo iten, Adonai Yavarech et amo shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach.
Shabbat shalom. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu. Nice. Odivo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.